walk with me through this journey of a pro forma and all the information needed for such pro forma. The premise of this exercise is I have an investor looking to sell their investment property, obviously. And I just think we're way far off on value. I don't think. She's telling me she sees comparables in the 140 range. Here's the caveat. It's got a tenant paying $1,000 a month. So a tenant paying $1,000 a month, they've been there many years, and it needs work. So does market value have any weight here? The answer is no, because it's got a tenant in place, and an owner occupant is A, not gonna be able to buy it, B, not gonna want to do the work, and C, we're not even gonna have cooperation from the tenant to allow showings to maximize our buyer pool for an owner occupant buyer. So that 140 market value doesn't mean anything because we have a tenant paying $1,000 a month in rent. So we're gonna go back to what this looks like here. So we're going to run numbers, and the numbers we're going to run, I'm just going to plug in 125 for now. By the way, 125 is never going to work. It's never going to work. 1,000 rent. All right, so first thing we got to do is go and check the auditor site, property taxes. So I go to the county auditor site and pull up the address. Let's pull the tax. There we go. So we got 2826. It's actually 2828, a little under 2828. For those that want to use a calculator, I'm using just freelance arithmetic here. We're going to round up a little bit, 2828. So we're going to go back to our pro forma, 2828. Insurance on a single family, I like to do 1,000 a year, 900 a year. So just, we'll go 90 a month. Single family, tenant doesn't pay, or tenant pays gas and electric. Coincidentally, the owner pays water, sewer. So I'm going to run this at 100 a month, which is extremely conservative because I just want to show the investor that these numbers do not work at what they're thinking, even with baseline numbers, bare bones numbers. I won't even run trash. No lawn and snow management. I'll run it at a discounted 8%. We'll just leave it be. No vacancy because it's occupied. I'll run it at 10% maintenance because it's low rent, and $100 a month for CapEx and maintenance really is nothing. So at $1,000 a month, interest rate, 25% down. I'm going to bump this up to 6.1. I think that was the last rate we just got from an investor for an investment purchase, 30 years. $3,000 in closing costs at $1,000 rent at a $125,000 purchase price. You got a negative 6% ROI. You're actually in the red, $173.79 a month. And this is with no vacancy, guys, no vacancy, discounted management fee, and no capital reserve funds. And I only ran it at $100 a month in water sewer with no trash, assuming trash is probably incorporated as well. My point is, this just doesn't work. So I'm going to run this where I think it should be, just ballpark, back of the napkin numbers at 90. I know you're thinking that's crazy, right? 90K for a house in Euclid. It's still negative cash flow. But at 90, based on my experience, my perspective is between 80 and 90, I can get an investor to bite on it with the upside on the back end, increasing rent, forcing turnover and rehabbing. But an investor is going to incorporate 25K in repairs because this tenant's been in there for almost a decade. Guys, point of sale violations plus a decade of wear and tear, you're talking about 25K minimum. So plus the vacancy, the tenancy, it doesn't work with the current tenant in place. So, you're going to be looking at between forcing turnover, the rehab, and getting a new tenant in place, minimum 6 months. So you got 6 months of holding costs, 6 months of vacancy, 25, 30K in rehab. And guys, come on, what are we doing here? This just doesn't work. But at 80 to 90K, an investor can be a little high. Currently, let's go 80. At 80, you're finally in the black. Market rent's probably closer to like $1,350, okay? Especially if you're incorporating 25K in rent or in rehab. At $1,350, it's good. It's okay. And we're at a 4% ROI. I'll be honest with you, it's still not great. But at $1,350, at least it becomes a little bit more palatable. So $115, now we start to get to closer to our gold star for ROI. So this is how I'm presenting numbers to these investors, coupled with looking at photos, assessment, what the current condition is, and trying to formulate the best game plan possible here. But if you're looking at comparables and trying to say that, I'm seeing comparables in the 140, It's lunacy. It's not apples to apples. It's just not. A property with a tenant in place for a decade plus, for 5 years plus, 2 years plus, at a low rent where we're not going to be able to get owner occupants in there. And it's not financeable for FHA buyers because they can't have immediate possession. It doesn't work. There isn't an owner occupant that's going to be interested in it at that price. So, hold on. Why would a home buyer pass up on this 4-bed, full bath, move-in ready with, it's clean, some updates, it's clean. Actually, it's not that bad. Granite countertops, updated windows, for something that they can't even move into. Again, these are not apples to apples listings. House looks decent, right? Currently leased at $875 a month. And this house is much more updated than our subject property. Much more. Has much more potential than subject property. Sold for $90K.